And welcome, welcome, welcome. Terry Brock here for another Talking Tech Tips with Terry, Tuesday at 2. And today is a very special day because we've got a guest that you are going to love hearing about video and all kinds of good things there. But also, this is a very special one. Also, we're recorded. This is recorded. We're coming to you now, not quite live. You know, we like to do live, but not able to do that because the good folks at Facebook, I'm using those terms very carefully here, have decided, well, we can't have Terry doing a live stream for whatever reason. Who knows? But it's a good lesson to realize, okay, at any time that can happen. So you just have to kind of adapt and adjust and roll with the punches when it's coming. But we have someone joining us today right now. As a matter of fact, you're seeing him on the screen right now. This is Vincent Pelligi, and he is the videographer and editor here with us at Dental Nachos. Vincent, good to have you with us, sir.
Great to be here.
And I'm so glad you are here because you do some amazing, wonderful things with video. You and I get a chance to talk about it every so often. And I knew that that would help our dentisting humans that are out there that are talking about all the kind of things they're doing and working with it. Tell us a little bit about what you see from a big picture point of view, the benefits of using video today and how you're using it for us here at Dental Nachos.
Well, I mean, I think it's the easiest way to share content these days. And people don't really read as much as they do. People like to watch stuff. You can put a video on a screen and have it in the background and still absorb just as much information as, you know, if you were reading something. So I think it's just a great way of content sharing. It's a great way of building a community. And it's been awesome working at Dental Nachos and doing their video for them.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of capabilities there with what we can do and working with video. I like it because it gives us a chance to see the person almost as if you're right there with them. I know it's not the same, but it's very close. Tell us a little bit about some of the nitty gritty that you're doing, the videos you're shooting. I know with Paul Goodman, are affectionately called Dr. Nachos, and he is out there. You're doing a lot with that. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing with him on those videos.
Well, I mean, Paul's really the star. I always tell myself, I just hold the camera. So he does great stuff. We put together all different types of content for everyone on the the Facebook group, the YouTube page that we have. We put stuff on Facebook. We put stuff on LinkedIn. The Nachoverse is expanding every day. So I mean, everything I do with him is has been really, really fun.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good that we can get there. It's a way to capture the essence of Paul delivering a message with dynamic ideas, new information that can be very useful to the dentist. Let me ask you this then, based on what you've seen, what you're doing and your background in video, how do you think dentisting humans would be able to use video from what you've seen, how they're using it now, and what you see are possibilities?
I think it's always good to have some sort of video in any sort of practice, any sort of dentist world, really, because I know when I'm looking up a business or if I'm looking up some place I'm going to go that's new, it's nice to see that they have like a video or even pictures, any sort of like media that you can have just to know that the place is more legitimate and you kind of know what to go. It's kind of like when you go to a restaurant, you look up the menu before. I think it's kind of the same practice where you want to know what you're getting into. You want to know when you're walking through the door, is this place going to be nice? How are the people going to be? So I think it's always good to have like a meet the team video even, or any sort of, as I said, media.
Yeah, I think that's good. I was thinking the idea of a dental practice, and I think some are doing this now, where you can say, well, hello there. We're Dr. Terry. I'm not a doctor, of course, but just you work with me on this. So it's Dr. Terry here. Welcome to our dental practice here at Terry's Dentist. And as you come in the door, notice you see that. And then over here at the front desk is Mary. Say hello to Mary. Hi, Mary. How are you? You know, something like that where you could walk around the office. You could show them some of the facilities that you have, show them some of the places where you've got all kinds of information that are going to directly relate to them as a patient. Seems like that could be really good. What are your thoughts on having a video, something like that for a dentist?
I think it's very valuable. I think it's one of the most important things you can really do when it comes to your social media or even your business presence online. People, even when you're looking for a house, people look for video walkthroughs of their house. Why couldn't they do the same thing when they're looking for a dental practice? People want to feel that sense of community. They want to feel like they're connected to any sort of business they go to. So I think it's something that could be, very important. And I know when I see certain businesses, I always click on those videos and, want to see more about them.
Yeah, it would seem like you mentioned, for instance, a restaurant. It seemed like if you're looking at a bunch of restaurants and you haven't been there before, it would be
Mhm.
nice to have seen a video. You know, you're walking up to it. You see, oh, this is what it looks like from outside. So I know that's the place. I walk in the door and I feel like I've been there already. If I
Mhm.
look into, I've seen the video of where the tables are, and there's those really nice tables in the back that you can get, and then we got these over here on the side, and then there's the bar over here where you can sit, et cetera, et cetera. You feel like, okay, I'm familiar with it. It's my place, and it gives
Mhm.
that little sense of belonging. What would be a good idea for dentists that haven't done this yet that might want to look into it and start getting into that? What would you recommend for them to kind of start going through that checklist?
I would say first. I would say figure out what you really want to do. Um, I wouldn't say off the bat you need to do a full production. You don't need like a full commercial done off the bat, but you want to start implementing it if you've thought about it at all. I would find like a small production, even maybe like a video student that's looking for some cheap work. So, I mean, as I've learned here, the best, the favorite thing of a dentist is anything that's free. So, I think that's always a good way. Just get someone some experience, or if you want to go higher scale, find a production company in your local area and start working. I mean, you can make commercials, you can make, as I said, tours, you can make meet the teams, you could do interviews, show people a lot of the skills that you have, show them some of the uh, things you can, or services you can offer them. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things you can do with it. It's very versatile.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be really good for that. Well, let me ask you this then. Sometimes people think, well, I don't have the fancy equipment. I don't have all the kind of doodads and things that are there. What about using their phone? Before we started, you were saying that you just got your new baby has arrived, the iPhone 13. Is that right?
I mean, I don't want to brag, but
Yeah, you can brag if you want.
someone brought it up, so.
Exactly, exactly. What if someone says, "Well, I've got a reasonably recent phone, whether it's iPhone or Android, whatever it is." Would they be able to do something with that for
Oh,
creating
absolutely.
video?
It might not be as high quality when it comes to the video. I mean, there's examples of like movies and certain shots. Like I know in Wolf of Wall Street, one or I think it was one of the shots is shot on an iPhone. It's the when the smoking light, the seatbelt light goes on in the movie. Like you can do things with it. I mean, it's not going to be as high of production, but it's not going to look bad. It's gonna be content, which is always key. I mean, content's king, so you want to make as much as possible. So, I mean, it's positive. It's not something I would say, oh, absolutely don't do that. I think it's always good to do to have as much as possible. So, yeah, you could absolutely use your phone.
Yeah, I think so. And matter of fact, those of you that are dentisting humans out there, you just heard it from Vincent himself. He's the man. And using an iPhone, I think the quality is very good. Matter of fact, I could be wrong, but I remember in the ads that they put out from Apple talking about the new iPhone 13 and
They're really
particularly
good.
the
Yeah.
Pro Max, they were showing that you could actually use cinema quality video on that. And I thought,
It's
oh,
it's it's really good if you know what you're doing. I mean, as long as you don't flip it open, hit record. Like if you mess with some of the settings on it, I mean, you can really look good.
yeah, I think they've got
So,
the settings in there to make it look really good. Very cinematograph. Is that a word? Cinematography? Yeah, I
we
heard
can
somebody
make
say
it a
that.
word. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. However you spell that and however you say that word, it's a good thing. And you can put that in there, have some fun with it. And I would say do a lot of practice first. Get in there, try
Mhm.
some things, make some mistakes. And hey, the nice thing about it, you make a mistake, there's a button on there called delete. And you
Mhm.
can do that. You just tap that little trash can and you get away. So get out there, make lots of mistakes, practice a lot. And it's not going to hurt if you show someone your operatory, for instance. You say, here's what we do. When you come in for the checkup, you'll sit down here in a nice, cozy, comfortable chair that's there. And it's going to make your experience here at the dentist so much better all the way around. Come on in and see us or something like that. Seems like it could work.
And one of the best places to upload it is Google My Business. So when you click on your business, it's right there. I know that's where I see photos, videos of businesses. I'm not a Yelp person. I know a lot of people are Yelp people, but I'm not. But I know that's a good place to upload stuff. So you want to make it as easy to access as possible.
I like it. That makes sense. Well, let me ask you this. What kind of equipment are you using? You're a pro. You've been doing this for a long time. And not that we necessarily have to run out and get the same thing, but just out of curiosity, what are you using?
I used to use a Canon Rebel like T5i. It was a great camera, only shot in 1080p. So then I recently upgraded to a Sony A7 III, which
Oh,
is,
and you happen to have it there with us. That's good.
yeah.
Nice.
So I have a battery extension on it, but it really isn't a big camera. It's just this little box right here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not huge. So it's you don't have to dedicate a whole room to it or anything. You can throw it right on a tripod. And then I'm not using a stock lens. My little investment here is my it's a Sigma 1.2 35 millimeter fixed. I love this lens. It changes the whole look of everything. I wouldn't go out of your way to buy one if you're not going to be doing serious video. Or I would, you could even, if you were to go to something in the Alpha series of the Sony cameras, which is my heavy recommendation to go Sony, make sure it shoots at 4K. If you're going to be, making an investment, but the Sigma lenses are beyond phenomenal. I cannot recommend them enough.
Oh, okay.
Especially third class.
How much does something like that run? What would you?
I actually bought this used, and it was still about $1,200. So
$1,200 used. Okay.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to get into more serious photography and videography, that would be something to consider. And
I would always invest with the camera first. Just get yourself a really nice camera, and then I would go. Then you can really start to play around with the lenses. Don't get yourself too caught up on the lenses because it gets crazy. There are thousands of different options. So you want to make sure you get the right camera first.
Well, let me ask you this. As a person who's not a photographer, not a videographer, although I do a lot with video, I do a lot of training on it and using it, and working with it, particularly with Zoom and those kind of things. What are the advantages I'm going to get, or you're getting with a higher end, like a dedicated Sony or Canon, that you would not get with the most up-to-date, say, iPhone 13 or the latest Samsung Galaxy that they have? What are you getting with the professional grade cameras?
I mean, it's when you see them side by side, it's pretty night and day. I mean, color depth, the deepness of like the blacks in the video, what you can do in post production, just the lenses are huge. The interchangeable lenses are, I mean, what you could go, I don't know, like half a mile down the road and look and see. With a zoom lens, you can shoot the tiniest little bug that you would never be able to see with a little micro lens. It's what you can do with one of these is unbelievable. It's the base basically just records, but what you can do with the lenses is key.
So that's the key is the lens. You get these extra lenses. If you're doing a lot of video where you're shooting at a distance, you want to get that piece of dust up there on the moon. You want to shoot at the moon and get that. Well, I don't know if I might be stretching it a bit there, but still, if you want to get something really, really good like that, it sounds like the lens would be the way to go. But
absolutely.
Just as a hi, come over to our dentist office and see us. We're here. We're friendly. Seems like you could do a lot with a really good, decent phone.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be shooting like a television commercial on it, but you could do any sort of video content that you want. I would also invest in a lavalier mic or some sort of like boom situation, and maybe like a little audio packs on the back that you can connect to the lav mic so you have sound. Because the one thing about the iPhone is you're going to get some good video. I mean, it's not going to be bad video at all, but your sound's going to be off. So make sure you focus on the sound because nobody wants good video with bad sound. I mean, you'll see the local commercials with the car dealership commercials that are, you can hear it.
Like this, you can barely hear them in the background.
They're doing one in Philly right now with Jalen Hurts, and it's hysterical. Like it comes on, and you're like, all right, like we know it's bad. Like it's really bad. So.
Yeah, the audio is so important. You hear me at Dental Nachos talk about this all the time. And when I'm doing coaching and training people at Dental Nachos or elsewhere, I always say the most important part of video is audio. Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure that it's there because think about it. If you have really bad audio, I mean, it's just terrible. People aren't going to tolerate that. They'll see your nice face on the screen. That's okay, but they're going to click. Now, if you have really good audio, they can at least bear a little bit of video that's not quite as good. They're still getting the message. But I think
you can always put graphics over the video. Worst case scenario, if the audio is, or if the video is really bad. So you can always, I mean, I would much rather have a voiceover than a silent film. It's and then I also have to say, you don't be afraid to like. Well, you can't fix bad audio in post. You really can't. You can pretend like you can, but it's not gonna, unless you're like a really good professional. Like unless you really know what you're doing. I mean, if you have a loud air conditioner in the background, it's going to sound really tinny afterwards. It's not going to be good. So just, when you are shooting, try to shoot in pretty mild conditions. And if you have a loud air conditioner, I grew up in Florida. I know this very well. A loud air conditioner. I've had to shoot whole short films. No AC in my house in the summer. It's tough, but you just do it. Yeah.
As a guy who's here in Orlando now, I know what you mean on that. On the summer times, we really
tough.
like our air conditioning down here.
Yeah. I mean, it's key.
Yeah, it is. But you hear, those of you that are watching this, and you dentisting humans, that's important. You want to make sure you have good audio, and with a little bit of extra work up front, you can get the skills, you can get the equipment that you need, and make sure that then you can do this on a regular basis so that you could have regular seasonal videos. Hey, it's the first of the year. Greetings. Come on in. We got specials here. We can help you on this. Now's a good time to get your teeth checked, etc. Or, hey, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. You can put out all kinds of videos that could go out to your patients, could go out to new prospects, people that could potentially work with your services. So looking at the equipment. Oh, go ahead, Vince.
Oh, I was going to say, when you are shooting your video, just make sure you shoot it horizontally and not vertically. I know.
Why is that?
It'll fill out a screen a lot better. It looks way more professional. Just, this is not good. This is good. Just try to make sure you always, if you are shooting on your phone, always shoot this way. Yeah. I know we've all seen the videos online of like somebody's birthday party, and it's, all the way back here, and it's not good. It doesn't look professional. It looks very homemade. So make sure you horizontal video is key.
Yeah, doing it in horizontal, the landscape mode like this is the way you want to do it for the most part. Because as you and I both know, today, if you're doing YouTube shorts, if you're doing something on TikTok, if you're doing something in certain environments, Instagram.
That's true. Very true.
Do the portrait that way, the up and down. So
yeah, the social media doesn't really care for this way, but when you're making professional video, you always have to do this way. So I would say rule of thumb is social media this way, professional this way. So
I think that's very well said. That's what you got to do. So in other words, we adapt and we adjust based on what we're doing. Now, you can take a video that is shot in landscape and turn it into a portrait if you want to put it on Instagram for Instagram Reels or something like that, or Facebook. You can, but it's really, I agree with you, Vincent. You doing it landscape is far, far better. And
you can't really change a horizontal video to be landscape, but you can, as you said, absolutely change a landscape video to be. Well, I screwed myself up here. You can edit it into
portrait.
Portrait. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Exactly. So we can do that. Well, let's see. We've talked about the cameras. We've talked about the sound. Lighting is also important when we're doing video. Talk to us a little bit about lighting, and what does a dentisting human that's watching this need to know about that?
I wouldn't say that you have to spend too much time, really focusing on your lighting if you're going to be shooting something in an office. I would just, be mindful of it. Don't shoot too dark. It'll look really grainy. Don't blast the light. Don't put like a bunch of lights in the room and, try to like soften up all those harsh features on yourself. Like, just let it happen. Just, record as it is sometimes. Or if you do have a lighting kit, which is great, then you can really start getting focus on it. But, sometimes just the overhead lights might just work. I mean, as long as you're not shooting a commercial, but you're just showing off your office, I wouldn't worry too much about your lighting.
Okay, you mentioned lighting kit. For those that don't know what that is and wondering what is a lighting kit, what's in there, what are some of the big picture things we need to know about with a lighting kit?
There's some soft boxes. You could get an LED box. Really anything that will. So it's a soft box is like a light, and then it has almost like a fabric cover, and then it's like a little see-through part. It's almost like translucent. So then instead of being hit with harsh light, it hits you with soft light. So it looks like that you're being like, it just brushes against you instead of being like someone holding a flashlight in your face. There's also reflectors. So there's a lot of options for lighting. But the thing about why I said earlier, you want to make sure that the lighting, you could go easy on the lighting, is because lighting is very difficult to do and very easy to screw up. And so you don't want, a bunch of shadows behind you. You don't want, you to be looking like, how do I put this? Like this the whole time. So you want it to be as neutral as possible. They say the best way when you're shooting a video to have it done is to make everyone think everything's invisible. When you're editing it, you want it to be invisible. When you're shooting it, you want everything. You don't want them to go, wow, what a nice production. You want them to go, you don't even want them to think about it.
Yeah, you want them to think, wow, that content was good. That was a good message.
But, someone like me, when I'm say I watch a podcast and I see it's has a rack focus with like 4K, I'm like, why would they do that? Like, that's way too much production value for them. But like, I respect it. Like, I like that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, exactly. Geeks like you and me get into that. And I can really get geeky about that, all those things. So we've got our audio covered. We've got our cameras covered. We've got the lighting covered. Anything else we need to be aware of when we're shooting videos in your mind?
I think making sure you're in the frame. If you're shooting a person, you don't want to be, you don't want to be like this the whole time or have your head a little bit cut off. Yeah. Or you don't want to stand too far away. You don't want to stand too close. Right now I'm at like a mid shot. That's not bad if you're doing an interview. Yeah, you don't want to be doing that. You do not want to be doing that. So you want to be able to have something that, if you're, sometimes when you see, as I said, those car dealership commercials, the people are standing all the way out. You see the bottom of their shoes. It depends on what you're doing. So if you're shooting like a dramatic film, and you want like Goodfellas and you got someone walking all the way in the distance, then that's good. But, you don't want, someone super far away and then really close audio. You just got to be really mindful of like your spacing and your blocking and all that.
Yep. Sounds important. A lot of good tips there on the video. Well, now, before we let you go, we want to find out, as we like to find out from our guests quite often here at Talking Tech Tips with Terry, Tuesday at 2, some apps that you're using, some apps or other technologies that you find, hey, really helps you a lot. What could you share with us?
Well, right now I edit entirely on Adobe Premiere Pro. I mean, there's also anything in the Adobe suite, After Effects. You could even, I guess you could say sometimes Photoshop for graphics, but anything in the Adobe suite is really, really, really invaluable. I think it's the best for like a prosumer. I would say there's also Final Cut for Apple users, but I think you can use that on PC. I'm not 100% sure on that. I have used Avid in the past, but even something as simple as iMovie, which everybody who has a Mac, you could use that. There's no belittling using that. It's a great software. Maybe I wouldn't put the big transitions where everything flips around or the page peel, but there's nothing wrong with using that if you get your video cut together and it looks great. So I always use Avid, or not. I used to use Avid. I always use Adobe Premiere Pro, and then I think that's the main application I use.
Yeah, sounds good. It's very good. I'm using CMac, Camtasia for Mac, for myself.
Okay.
It's a nice one. It's easy, and the best product I think is the one that you know how to use.
Absolutely. And the thing is you don't need to have gone to school to learn how to edit. YouTube University, everything. Just look it up on YouTube. I will wholeheartedly admit, I use YouTube almost every edit I do. If I forget something, or because Adobe has thousands of buttons, and like if I want to try something new, I'm like, all right, let me look it up on YouTube before I just sit here for 3 hours and do things. So if I want, to key out something, or if I want, text to spin around like 10 times, it's never a bad idea to look something up on YouTube. It helps so much.
Yes, indeed. Well, folks, you heard it there from Vincent himself, and I'd have to agree with him 100%. University of YouTube is really good. Now, is everything out there great? No, of course not. But there's a lot of good. I find myself going there regularly. This morning, I was getting some videos on a few different topics that I needed to know about, or some products I'm looking at. I thought, I went over to their website. I saw the videos on their website. But what are other people saying about it? I like to go over there to YouTube, and it's really, really nice for that. Well, Vincent, if somebody says, hey, we really like this guy, he's done a lot. What's the best way for someone to get in touch with you there at Dental Nachos?
Vincent at dentalnachos.com is my email. So, or just call the office. I'll be there. So
sounds good. All right. Any final words that you would leave for the person who's interested in video? They say right now, hey, you've kind of perked my interest in that. I might want to take a look at it and do some more. What would you leave them with today?
The best piece of advice I've ever gotten when it comes to video is just start to record. Just get your camera out, get your phone out, record as much as possible, record whatever, shoot films with your friends, find people that you want to find, like groups, find just people, and just record things. There's nothing that you can get when it comes to experience better than just on the field experience. So just get out there, go ahead and do it. So that's what I started to do when I was in college, and it's my favorite thing in the world.
I have to agree with you again. I think that's the key. Get out there and do the reps, get in there, get practice, and get good feedback. We often say practice makes perfect. Not true. Perfect practice makes perfect. You keep doing something the wrong way over and over and practicing that's not going to get you very good. You want that help. My friend Harvey McKay talks about this a lot. And you want to make sure that you're getting that practice from people who are really good, kind of like Vincent. That's why we have him here at Dental Nachos, and we're really proud to have him aboard. Vincent, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
All right. And for those of you that are joining us on this, I want you to take a look at what you're doing with video. There's a lot of opportunities with it, a lot of good things you can do. And this is something that we do on a regular basis. We help people on that. If you can get in touch with me, you can jump on the screen, see what's going on, see what we can do on ways that we can help you. We want to do that. So for all of us here at Dental Nachos, Talking Tech Tips with Terry, Tuesday at 2.